Next up, we have Star Wars plotlines, was it?
Star Wars stories.
Star Wars stories. Gotcha.
So both from the both Legends and the Disney.
Okay.
And this is actually too pixelated for me to see the images, but I can tell what you just put in F.
So anyways, let's go down the list here. We have the original Clone Wars, the animated, animatic, or what do they call it nowadays?
I'm not sure. I think it's just the animated Clone Wars.
Yeah, the original animated Clone Wars.
The one that's unfortunately no longer canon.
Yeah. I don't know who this is. Is this like... Oh, fuck, is this the like really, really late New Republic? Where it's like
that is...
something Solo?
That's Ben Skywalker.
That's Ben Skywalker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think. Honestly, he's like 7 pixels on my screen.
Oh, okay. Alright, this is the Old Republic, right?
Yep. That's right.
This... shit. Oh, fuck. I think I know what the storyline is, but I can't. This is the one where Luke Skywalker gets cloned from his hand? Right?
Not that one, no.
Okay.
You're looking at Jason Solo.
Jason Solo, okay. Okay.
If you put Jason Solo and Ben Skywalker in a blender, you get Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Alright, then this is just Luke Skywalker's story.
Mm-hmm.
This is Anakin Skywalker's story. This is the Rebels, right? I haven't seen Rebels.
Pretty sure.
Then Rogue One. Rey's story, and no, I'm not gonna do that to her. Solo. So I guess
Yep.
just Han Solo's story in general, or just the movie?
The movie specifically.
Okay. The Clone Wars, the TV show, which was fantastic. Mandalorian, which unfortunately I haven't seen. And that's it. Alright, let's do this legit.
No, you're right. Thrawn is legitimately S tier.
Thrawn is legitimately S tier. He's always been S tier. I think, from what I've seen, and I haven't actually watched it, but just seeing the community gather around it, Thrawn is still fantastic, even when he was brought back into Rebels.
So, I've actually seen everything they've done with Thrawn, except for the comics at this point.
Okay.
What I put in here was specific to the original Zahn trilogy.
Okay, and
that is absolutely S tier.
first of all,
that is 11 out of 10.
Everything that Timothy Zahn has written is 11 out of 10 tier.
I wouldn't say that, and for reasons I'm about to explain.
Okay.
When they rebooted the timeline, and Thrawn originally came back in a Zahn book. Zahn has written a new Thrawn trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Which is not bad by any means, but unfortunately it just doesn't stack up to the original, because Thrawn in the new books isn't used to explore his own story. He's being used as a way to shore up existing canon in other pieces of the universe.
They're doing him dirty.
Yeah. So the first Thrawn book was not actually about Thrawn, it was about Rebels.
Okay, so they're doing a Kathleen Kennedy on this shit. Gotcha.
Yeah, the second Thrawn book wasn't actually
out.
about Thrawn, it was about the new Star Wars outpost at Disneyland. It was literally setting up the canon for that.
Okay. Now,
the third Thrawn book I read and honestly can't remember what it was about.
When I say everything Timothy Zahn has ever written is amazing, I don't just mean Star Wars novels, because he doesn't just do Star Wars novels. I have a shelf devoted to his other sci-fi and stuff, and they're all amazing. His short stories are amazing, his novels are amazing, his Star Wars novels are amazing.
And I should say, the new Thrawn books are not bad by any means, but they don't nearly live up to the original Thrawn that we got.
Okay. Yeah. For those who don't know, Thrawn is a Chiss, which is an alien race that lives on the, like, basically in the Outer Rim. Like, almost outside of the known galaxy. And they are a warrior race, and he is set up as the only Grand Admiral to be an alien because Palpatine hates aliens. And he still manages to raise himself up to that point because of how fucking brilliant he is. He is the Sherlock of military minds. And it's
actually
pretty much exactly how they make him out to be. He instead of just being tactically brilliant, he also studies everything about a culture to the point where he can, practically speaking, know what they're going to do before they do it.
So with Palpatine, what he did with Thrawn was actually somewhat more manipulative than just Palpatine hates aliens, but he's making an exception for Thrawn. Palpatine doesn't actually hate aliens. If he hated aliens, he never could have been Supreme Chancellor. What he did was he pulled a space Hitler. When the new Empire rose, he made everyone think that aliens were the reason that the Republic fell.
Yeah.
And so he gave the humans in the galaxy, which were the majority, a common enemy, and they could feel better about themselves because they were not the aliens. So he was actively encouraging those attitudes. And then he specifically negated that strategy in a single instance because Thrawn was just that worth it.
Yeah. Alright. Then, and the other thing we didn't mention is the Yuuzhan Vong, which is basically the New Republic, the old New Republic series, which gets F tier because Chewbacca dies.
Okay, yeah, if any of them deserve F tier, it's for that.
Just
honestly, I don't think the New Jedi Order is as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but yeah, they killed Chewie. They deserve it.
Now, they did it in the most badass way possible. They killed him by literally dropping a planet on him. Like, he died because a planet was dropped on him after he fought a war and saved everyone on the planet, etc.
Yeah, he fought a war, he saved everyone on a planet. In his last moments, he basically fastball pitches Han Solo's son to him as the Millennium Falcon flies off into the sunset, and then the planet falls on him.
Yeah. But also, they killed Chewbacca, so F tier.
Yeah. I
will always say that. There's a lot of really good ones. Let's pick some ones in the middle, just because so many of these I want to put S tier. So Rebels, you said you've seen everything for Thrawn, so presumably you've watched Rebels.
Yes, I've seen all of these, except I haven't finished all of Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
So Rebels, I would give a solid B.
A solid B? Okay. I know it's not as good as the Clone Wars.
It's not as good as... Sorry, go ahead.
Just from what everyone has said, it's not as good as the Clone Wars. But I haven't seen anyone say it was bad.
Yeah, it's still good. It's a worthy successor to the Clone Wars, in the same way that Legend of Korra is a worthy successor to The Last Airbender.
11 out of 10.
Not as good,
8 out of 10.
But still good. Yeah.
Okay. With that, Clone Wars A?
Yes.
I mean, it's a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
That there's still some storylines that need to be finished. So
We're getting to it. Finally.
well, it's finished now. Again, this is what, the third season finale came out this year? Sorry, the third series finale came out this year?
Just the second. Originally, it was the series finale, and then it released on Netflix, and when that happened, it came with a bunch of, quote, lost episodes that were produced but never actually fit into the broadcast schedule.
Gotcha. Okay. I actually haven't finished the Clone Wars. Well, I did, but then there were more. So I think I've seen through season 5, or maybe like 5.5 or something. I don't remember where I stopped.
Seasons 1 through 5 are a continuous storyline. Season 6 is the lost episodes, and those happen somewhere between season 4 and after season 5.
Yeah.
And then season 7 is the finale that should have happened but didn't.
Yeah. It's Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Solo. So Solo, a little bit of a story with Solo. Solo did me dirty because we went to the theater. We went to one of the nice theaters, like the Studio Movie Grill.
Mm-hmm.
Went there, had food, watched the movie until the very end when, spoilers for the next 5 seconds, Darth Maul shows back up. But at that point, when that reappeared,
you hadn't seen Clone Wars.
No, I had. The power dropped in the theater.
Oh.
And for like the 1 minute before they showed up to the end of the movie played because it was on a backup generator. The sound did not. So I got to see it, but not hear it. And
ouch.
If you've ever seen anything Star Wars, especially anything that has anything even close to being done by John Williams, you know that's a crime.
Yes.
Now, they gave us a free ticket to come back and watch something on another day. And I did get to, I think my parents, a month or so later, got it at a Redbox or something. And I was able to watch then and hear the last 15 minutes of the movie. I don't know. But yeah, did me dirty. But it's not a bad movie. It got a lot of crap, but it's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. I do have qualms about their casting.
Whoa. I thought their casting was pretty good. Who were you, who do you object to?
Honestly, Solo.
Really? I thought he did the best possible job for someone that wasn't Harrison Ford that was young. I mean, it's an impossible
He did a good job,
role.
don't get me wrong. I think I forget the actor's name.
Yeah.
But I think that guy did a great job with the role he was handed. A lot of places, he got the mannerisms down, he got the tone of voice down, but he just... He didn't have the screen presence.
Okay. Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, that guy.
That's his name.
Although I will say, they got a good Lando.
Donald Glover was an amazing Lando.
Yes.
He did a great job. And honestly, most of the other casting, like Paul Bettany was a good Dryden Voss.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Harrelson was a good Beckett.
Yeah, for the rest of that, where they weren't established characters, Chewie was good.
Yeah.
Where they weren't established characters, they were characters in their own right, and they were great. But the guy who was on screen playing Han Solo just didn't feel like Han Solo to me.
Ray Park was good, reprising his role.
Well, yeah. He hardly ever had any dialogue to begin with.
No. I thought he was good for an impossible role. I mean, because... Oh, oops, nope. I thought, like, how do you fill those shoes? It's
Yeah, I am not saying I could have done better, but I am saying I feel like they should have done better in order for me to like the movie more.
okay.
Like, I know that is a very, very tall order to fill,
Yeah.
but they literally asked for it when they decided to make this movie.
Yeah. See? I mean,
Yeah, see, it's not bad, but especially compared to some other stuff here.
what do you think here is bad, so that we can fill up the D slot and start putting things back in S?
Sequel trilogy.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't gonna give it above a D.
It's not F material, but it's just not good.
I tried fighting for it as it came out, but then I gave up. Cause like, and they were all fun movies. None of them weren't fun. They were all fun movies.
I was holding out hope for it until probably a week after I saw Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's fair. Cause I did, like, The Force Awakens was a good movie, but it was also just A New Hope. And
It was A New Hope, but it was also a whole bunch of stuff from the end of the Legends timeline, specifically Fate of the Jedi and Legacy of the Force, that were just cut completely out of context and tossed in a blender and then all shoved into Kylo Ren.
Yes, I will agree with that. They took A New Hope and then they added a bunch of stuff that they hoped would lead into more movies instead of making a good movie. And A New Hope was a good movie, and Force Awakens is an okay movie. But it had the same old nostalgic wonder, but it didn't have the same result, I guess. And then they went on to the Last Jedi, which honestly, by itself, The Last Jedi is a really, really well-made movie. It is. It's not a great...
Mechanically, it's good.
It's not a good Star Wars, but it's a really good movie. I mean, it's as movies go, it's one of the better directed and produced films with a twist and everything. It's really well made cinematically. But following from Force Awakens, it's a tough pill to swallow. And yeah, and then what makes it worse is The Rise of Skywalker, which came after, which said, oh yeah, all those things didn't, that's not a problem. Like, every single story beat I feel that was put forward in The Last Jedi, they just flip it on its head.
Yeah, basically. The way I've heard it put is The Force Awakens set up a bunch of questions to be answered. Last Jedi had answers for those questions. A lot of people didn't like the answers, but it answered the questions very satisfactorily.
Yeah.
And then Rise of Skywalker completely dumped all that out and tried to build something new from what was left over.
Yeah. And if any of the rumors are true, get Kathleen Kennedy out, put George Lucas in, and remake it. Just scrap the whole sequel trilogy.
But I wouldn't be sad to see it happen.
Scrap the trilogy, say, these are legends now. I mean, you've done it before.
Again, I doubt it,
yeah.
But I wouldn't be sad to see it happen.
Yeah.
One last thing on Force Awakens.
Okay.
It is a decent movie by itself, but I think it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings movies. Great movies on their own, but they're better if you haven't read the books when you see them, because as good as the movies are, if you've read the books, you know exactly what you're missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, moving on. We filled up all the slots.
Rest in peace, Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. Oof. And that's... I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I could... Okay. So anyways, the original Clone Wars, it's amazing. It's like an hour and a half of non-stop awesome. I mean, we got Grievous that was, like, badass Grievous.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see Anakin and Obi-Wan just be rad, and there were cool Force things and cool enemies like the weird tentacle monster guy. And the clones got to be badass. I mean, it has to be at least A tier. Maybe A to the right of Clone Wars, or...
I would definitely say to the right of Clone Wars. Honestly, I would put it in very high B for now.
Really? What's your nix against it?
The pacing wasn't great. And the direction wasn't great either. It was a fantastic art style, and it was a fantastic idea. They got a lot of good stuff out of it, but at the same time, just watching it all at once, it feels kind of stilted.
Okay, I guess I can see it. Okay, we can leave it there for now. I'm gonna leave these here because I'm not very familiar with them. This is... Are you saying this is KOTOR? Or is this the Old Republic, MMO?
I'm saying that's KOTOR specifically, because I don't know enough about the KOTOR MMO's overarching story to really say anything about it.
Okay, because that's unfortunate, because I know way more about the MMO from having watched all of the cinematics and stuff. Which, by the way, if we're going cinematics alone, those cinematics go in S tier. Like, I watched some of the cinematics for the original, or for the MMO, and I cry because of how beautiful they are and how awesome they are. Like, one of the Sith tries to kill this Jedi with a lightsaber and stabs it at her, and she absorbs it with her hand.
Okay, you're not talking about cinematics, you're talking about the trailers. And yes, those are fantastic.
I'm pretty sure they're also cinematics. I'm pretty sure they're reused. But yes, they are fucking amazing.
Yes.
They are. Those go above Grand Admiral Thrawn with just how fucking amazing they are. But if we're talking about KOTOR, I got nothing. The most I've experienced with KOTOR is I watched Dom play it ages ago. Like 15 years ago. We were in his house and he did Force Speed, which is the ability to walk faster. And I looked and I was like, your legs are a blur. And that was then a saying for us for a while. It was like, my legs are a blur. That's my experience with KOTOR.
So here's the first thing you need to know about KOTOR. KOTOR is D&D 3.5 with a Star Wars skin slapped on top.
Yeah.
If you like D&D, you're gonna like KOTOR. It is kind of crunchy. For when it was first made, I would easily have given it the top of A. It hasn't aged particularly well, partially because of game engine problems, and partially because D&D 3.5 hasn't aged particularly well.
Yeah, it's still great, but we've discovered that there are better ways to do things.
Yeah, so I would, for now, put it at the bottom of A. Okay. We'll probably put a few things on top of it, but it still deserves A.
Okay. Alright, so the original trilogy, is a fantastic trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to go in A, at least.
Yeah. It's definitely going above the Old Republic. Does it go above Clone Wars?
Now that's really the question. I mean, Clone Wars, while not a George Lucas production, is also a George Lucas production because they were working together for most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, if you didn't know, the director of the Clone Wars, like, worked with George Lucas to set all of the plot lines and stuff. I don't know.
While we're on Clone Wars for a second, you know Dave Filoni?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Here's one of the reasons you should watch Avatar. He directed it.
Okay. I probably still won't.
But you should. Anyway.
Maybe so.
What I would do here is original series, Clone Wars, or original trilogy, Clone Wars, prequel trilogy.
Ooh, you're gonna put prequel trilogy below the Clone Wars, even though Revenge of the Sith is the greatest Star Wars film of all time? Actually, that's not
obviously
true.
not, because the original trilogy topped it.
So the prequel trilogy is good, but it's also not good, but it's also good because it's not good. So
it's very unapologetic about what it is, and that's one of the reasons it's so memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Clone Wars is not just good on its own; it also fixed the problems that the prequel trilogy had.
Yeah, that's fair. Aside from the second movie, that's still got some major problems.
It fixed as much as it could.
Alright. Rogue One. To stop talking about the best Star Wars movie of all time, honestly, I think Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie of all time.
Either the best or the second best. No argument here.
Well, what would you give it as a runner-up? A lot of people say Empire Strikes Back is the best, but
honestly, every single time I try to make a ranking for which Star Wars movie is the best, it changes. But every single time, Rogue One is either number 1 or number 2.
Yeah. So it goes to S tier. The question is, does it go above or below Grand Admiral Thrawn? Because his story is also brilliant.
It is. It is absolutely brilliant. Rogue One is very good.
Yeah.
But the original Thrawn trilogy is god tier.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
It is.
Now, unfortunately, we've reached some of the limits, to my knowledge. We have Ben Skywalker here, who is the son of Luke and Mara?
Yes, so he's here representing the Fate of the Jedi trilogy, or not trilogy, series, the very last series in the Legacy canon, Legends canon.
Oh, I thought Corran Solo was.
Last book series.
Corran Horn. My bad, not Corran Solo. Corran Horn. So.
What about him?
I mean.
Corran Horn is a Jedi, but he's about Luke's age.
I thought Corran Horn was the one that was like way late in the storyline. But no, I'm getting the name mixed up.
He has a son named Valen Horn, but he's not really a major character.
Yeah. Shit. I don't remember.
I know there's a comic with some who knows how many generations descendant of Luke Skywalker, but that's a comic, and I haven't read those.
Okay. Okay.
So Fate. before we do Fate of the Jedi, let's do Legacy of the Force first.
That's the
That's the one with Jason Solo. Jason Solo, yeah. Legacy of the Force is what the prequel trilogy should have been. It's a 9-book series showing the fall of Jason Solo from a troubled Jedi Knight to a full-blown Sith Lord in charge of the Galactic Republic.
Okay.
And then at the end, they have to kill him off with the strike team consisting of his uncle, his aunt, and his sister.
Okay.
So it's a depressing read, but at the same time, like I said, it's what the prequel trilogy should have been. It takes all the time it needs to get every beat right. So I would put it... I'd put that at high B, because, like I said, it's good, but it's a depressing read.
Okay.
And then the other one, Fate of the Jedi, is the direct sequel from that, where Luke Skywalker and his son, Ben Skywalker, basically go... They're basically exiled from the New Republic until they can figure out what it was that drove Jason Solo off the deep end and turned him into Darth Malgus, I think? No, Cadus. Darth Cadus.
Darth Cadus, okay. Alright. So...
And that one gets into some extra-dimensional shenanigans. You've seen the Clone Wars, so you're familiar with the Mortis gods.
Yes.
You've got the father, the daughter, and the son.
Yes.
Representing
the balance,
the light side, and the dark side, respectively.
Yeah.
What's missing from this?
I don't know.
The mother. Chaos.
Okay. So where does this fit?
I would say... low B.
Low B.
It's,
okay.
It's very good, but you have to read a good 36 books before you actually understand why it's good.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah. It's one of the more worthwhile reads that I can't really recommend to anyone.
Yeah, no, because then you have to expect them to read all that other shit. Because that's after using Bomb, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to read that in order to get to the Jason Solo shit, so that you can get to the Ben Skywalker shit. And
honestly, you can read the Jason Solo stuff without having read the Yuuzhan Vong series, but the Ben Skywalker stuff won't make sense without the Yuuzhan Vong stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a Disney Plus account, so I can't watch The Mandalorian. But I've heard good things about it. I've also
The Mandalorian is very good. I'd say it deserves maybe 90% of the hype it gets.
Okay. Is the other 10% just because people think that Baby Yoda is the most adorable thing that exists?
Baby Yoda is a little overhyped.
Okay. Because
I'm not saying completely, but a little.
Just saying Baby Yoda does not make me want to die for Baby Yoda, which I've heard way too many people say.
But Baby Yoda actually does have a character beyond being Yoda and a baby.
Okay.
So he does legitimately inspire some affection in people who watch the show. It's not just because he looks cute.
Now, it is hard to place this at this point, considering most of the others of these stories are finished.
Yeah.
This one is ongoing, and actually,
It's the only one that's ongoing.
yeah, no, I guess you're right. Well, is Rebels?
Rebels is over.
Rebels is over. What you missed was Rebellion, or isn't there a new garbage TV show?
I know there is like a bunch of shorts.
It's like New Republic, basically. Resistance. Star Wars Resistance.
Okay, yeah.
It has a season.
I haven't seen that. I've heard kind of meh things about it.
Okay. Well,
like, it's not bad, but it's not enough to make me go out and watch it.
yeah. I mean, it is also like a lead up to the sequel trilogy, so it's not exactly the greatest content to enjoy.
Yeah. My whole thing with the Disney canon in general is that, in complete fairness, the Legends canon had a bunch of stinkers.
Yeah.
But it also had some really, really good stuff. And honestly, with the exception of Rogue One, none of the movies or the books in the new Disney canon break an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing to make me love it. There's nothing to make it hurt less that Legends is gone.
Yeah. So Mandalorian is still ongoing, and in fact might even be getting better because Dave Filoni is gonna be directing it, if I caught the rumors correctly. And
there's a whole bunch of
working in a lot of the Clone Wars stuff into it. So
and there's a whole lot of fan theories that it's also continuing on the cliffhanger that Rebels ended on.
Yeah, so we really have no idea where it's gonna go up or down from where you put it. But where would you put it right now?
Where it is right now, with only the stuff that's been released, I would put it at a low A below KOTOR.
Okay. Which is still very good.
Yes, it is still very good. If the fandom stuff that people are theorizing about actually does pan out, it could rise dramatically, but it hasn't yet.
Yeah. Well, this is the best of Star Wars stories, and honestly, this is great. I mean, exactly half of them are A tier or better.
It's almost like Star Wars is good.
And then more than half of the remaining are B tier. Star Wars is incredible, and it's incredible that it's produced so many good stories. It's unfortunate that so many of them are non-canon.
So here's the question. Star Wars was great when our parents were young adults, and it's been great since we were kids. Do you think it'll still be great when we have kids?
It depends on how much Kathleen Kennedy ruins it.
Yeah.
I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn will continue to be good forever. I think that the original trilogy as it stands, there's not a whole lot of like bad CGI or anything to make it bad in the future. I mean, there's some stuff. It's not timeless video quality, but the story I think is pretty solid. prequel trilogy, the memes will probably die out in another decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that they've lasted so long. And it's mostly due to, I think, the
Reddit.
Clone Wars and Reddit, yeah. The continuing storyline in other forms. But that's done now. I mean,
Well, I don't know. Bad Batch is still coming.
You're right. But then after that, I don't see much more they can milk.
Depends on whether or not they finally make up with Karen Travis.
I don't know who that is.
She's the one who wrote the Mandalorian books in the Old Republic Legends section.
Gotcha.
Like, about the clones and later on the early stormtroopers.
Okay.
Her work is very good, but unfortunately she got into a fight with George Lucas that, as a result, turned the Mandalorians into pacifists in the Clone Wars. That's where that came from.
Nice.
And they've never really made up since.
I love it. Alright.
One last thing on Star Wars. I discovered something earlier this year that I can't, in good conscience, actually hold against Kathleen Kennedy. But as a meme, it explains so much. She was one of the producers for Temple of Doom. There were a lot of other good people, but at the same time...
Kalima! Alright.
A lot of good people were on that movie. But it was still a stinker, and... someone screwed up.
Yeah.